This is Roger Bianchini in the Royal Examiner video interview studio. And today we have, after a slight absence, Jeff Browne, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Economic Development Authority of Warren County. I think I said that backwards, Warren County Economic Development Authority. No longer directly affiliated with the town, but cooperative with the town.
Well, actually, the town is still part of our EDA, and we still call it the Front Royal Warren County Economic Development Authority. And they still have things that they are obligated to do, and we hope to be working with the town and their EDA in the future.
We'll talk a little bit more about that, but I know we want to kick this one off with a threat to the agricultural economy of the region, and now officially into Warren County as of mid-month, I believe, which is the spotted lanternfly, which we've talked about before. But I think as of March 15th, it's going to be officially declared that Warren County is an infested spotted lanternfly site.
We are, and we will be, businesses will be in a quarantine, yes.
And how does that affect what you do? How does that affect what they do? Especially, I think, agricultural businesses. But everybody's supposed to be aware of this to try to stop the spread, right?
Exactly.
Not just farmers or wineries, vineyard people, but everybody.
Yeah, for businesses, it's focused primarily on anyone shipping outside of the county. They have to go through a multi-step process to show that they've inspected their vehicles, made sure that there aren't lanternflies in any of its 4 stages on their vehicles before they leave the county. It's a slow-moving, fortunately, problem, but it started in Pennsylvania in 2014, got to Frederick County 2018. So there are, at this point, only 2 states that it's infested in right now. It took, I guess I was here 2019 talking about the spotted lanternflies, and it took till just now that they found them in the county, and they need to do something about it.
Because when we talked about it last, they were officially in Frederick County by that point, right?
Right.
And you talked about the 4 stages, and we have a little chart here, but I think we're also going to post a chart with the video on the website.
Right.
But it has distinctive looks in all 4 stages, and these are hitchhikers, as I understand it. They like to get into vehicles and
Right.
they move around instead of flying themselves.
Right.
They'll hitch rides.
Yeah, as adults, they can actually fly, but they don't go very far. It isn't like they start going for miles and miles. But they're very good at hitchhiking on vehicles, on people's bottoms of their shoes, things like that. So there are 4 stages. The first is an egg stage, where it's a mass of them, kind of a white mass that would be on a tree.
I don't know if Mark can get a close-up of this, but like I said, we'll post it on the website.
Yeah. And we're in that stage right now. In mid-May, it'll go to the young larva, which is the black and white bugs, very distinctive in it. And then after that, they get to a more mature larva stage, which is red, black, and white. And then they become a beautiful, although invasive species in the summer months. And then you go back to an egg stage. And it's just something that, while businesses obviously need to be very careful about it, these are insects that can hitchhike with anybody. So it's something that we want to do a regular public service announcement on to make sure that people are looking for it and reporting it when they have the opportunity to.
In fact, I believe I've read that they sort of hitched into the nation initially. Didn't they come in cargo ships?
Yes.
With shipments of fruits and vegetables from overseas?
Yep. Yeah, they're best. They prefer feeding on a Asian plant called the tree of heaven, of which there's actually a good number in Warren County. But they're also targets of opportunity for grapes, peaches, apples, maples, walnuts, hops, cucumbers, and basil. So it's going to affect our agriculture. It's going to affect people's gardens potentially, and it's just something we have to be very, very careful about so we don't let it get out of hand.
And do you have more information on this on the EDA website, or is there a specific website people can go to learn more about this?
Tell you what, I will get the website for you so that you have it. There is there is a website that focuses just on it. There's a lot of information if you just put spotted lanternfly into
just search
and search for it. Yeah, the one that we'd probably have people go to is VDACS, VDACS, virginia.gov/plant-industry-services.shtml. And that's part of the VDACS website, which can give you a lot of information about it.
Okay. And you said it hit Pennsylvania back in 2014. Have they managed to get it under control? Have they stabilized the situation there? Do you know much about what the situation is where it originated as a threat to us?
Now, I think it's continuing to expand as it is in Frederick County. It's something that our extension services in the state are working on, trying to come up with good solutions to both to figure out where they are and then eradicate them when they have the opportunity to.
Well, as they say, it's always something, isn't it? We're hopefully coming out of the COVID a little bit with the vaccinations becoming more available, maybe normalize, and then another little unnormalizing situation hits us.
Right, we have the spotted lanternflies and cicadas. It'll be a one-two punch here.
Okay. All right, enough for the bugs. But be aware of the bugs. Stay aware of the bugs. Another big thing that's happened since we talked last was the agreement with the town to allow the sale of the Afton Inn for redevelopment, which has been in the brewing stages for years. I want to say at least to 2017-18, right?
Yep.
With the 2 East Main group, which I think has changed its makeup somewhat over the years, but they maintain their interest in doing this, and now it's been realized. Tell us a little bit about the future of the corner at the head of the downtown business district of Front Royal.
Well, it's really
which has been an eyesore for quite a while.
Quite an eyesore. You know, it's a neat development that we're going to move from having probably the worst eyesore in the county there to having an anchor for the downtown section, and so we're excited about that all by itself. We have
I would imagine the town is excited about it too.
I think they are, and that's really why we were able to come to an agreement on it. We have a world-class architect that's designed it. Actually, he had a very good story in the Royal Examiner that showed the plan that they have for it. It's going to look really beautiful, and it's going to be attractive.
I believe when you mentioned that story about the development group plans, that it ran afoul of the mayor somehow.
Well, I don't think the mayor was that complimentary about the Royal Examiner, but it was a fair and balanced and accurate story, and I think one of the reasons that we really came to an agreement was people being able to see what it might look like, and when you compare it to what's there now, there's no question, but we ought to go ahead with that. So,
and give us a time frame on what 2 East Main LLC's. I think they're supposed to start within a year and finish within a couple.
Yeah, I think they're going to start sooner than that. I mean, it's we've sold it, so now it's really the town and 2 East Main working together and coming up with a plan. So I haven't been privy to all the things that they're talking about, but in conversations,
all the permitting and everything will go through the town.
Right.
Connections and.
Right, and there's some engineering issues that are in question. You know, it's been exposed to the elements for several years. Things could have changed since the last time that they looked at it. So, but they hope to get going. I think in the near term and try to finish it up. That they have. Again, the last information we had was that they were going to complete within 2 years, and I think they felt confident they would be able to do that. So, I think we can start looking for some some progress there, which we haven't had in a long time. So that's a very nice
it may be
development.
it may be largely a rebuild, but there will be some materials from the original structure used as allowable. Because I mean, I guess we've got bricks dating back to 1868
Right.
in that building, so we might want a little newer brick. But it looks like the original. It's going to be based on the original design, right?
Yes.
But safe newer bricks where necessary.
Yes, I think that's correct.
And what would you say? Target completion date within 2 years?
Within 2 years, I think is again. I haven't been privy to the town to East Main discussions, but last I heard, within 2 years.
And I believe the original plans, I heard Jim Burton, the architect based out of Clark County, talk about was there would be a mixed commercial on the lower levels and then upper end apartments on the higher levels. Plus, there'll be an extension, I think, added to the building.
Yeah, there will be
for
an
the
extension to
commercial
it.
part of it, I think.
Right. They'll have a coffee shop or some attraction there for people to come in and enjoy it. So I think it looks really neat. I like the artist rendition of it. You see what difference a world-class architect can make to a building that you look at and you go, gee, maybe we should tear it down. But
And you're not just making up this world-class architect. Mr. Burton has been recognized internationally for his work.
he's
hasn't he?
he's in a book that's the 100 best architects in the world. So I think he's awfully good, and it's fun talking
I
to
call
him.
that credentialed.
It's a credential. But he's very enthusiastic about it, and one of the things that we really liked about it was 2 East Main was very excited to stay with it, even though there were problems and hurdles that we had to overcome. They have consistently been interested in getting involved, getting a hold of it so that they can complete
Well,
their
I was going to
vision.
ask you that because, like I say, dating back to maybe 17, possibly when it
Yeah, 17 or 18,
discussion started.
right?
And they have stuck through delays that weren't really their fault at all. I mean, initially, I think it got held up because it's alleged that some of the financial scandal money was moved through that product or that project, not by them, but by the
Right.
former executive director. So, as part of the civil suit and criminal investigation, everything was held up out of everybody's hands for a little while.
Yep.
And that's been resolved now, and we're ready to see it start to be reborn.
Yeah, I think and the timing is perfect for it. We're, as a county, we are starting to see a surge in interest in people wanting to come here, either to start a business, to own a home, to move out of the city, to get away from COVID and all the stifling issues that causes. And we're seeing real estate take off. We're seeing more businesses moving into the area, and I think it's time that we show that we have that we're willing and interested in doing the redevelopment necessary to make Front Royal really attractive.
And Alan Omar, who's the financial part, I think, of the 2 East Main team, came on a little later in the project, and he's based out of Alexandria and Fairfax, I think, right? So
Yep.
that sort of says what you're saying about the interest in coming west towards us.
Yeah, I see it all over. I participated in a real estate roundtable, and it was interesting hearing everyone talk about how there's been a surge in the sale of real estate in Warren County and in Front Royal. And I think that's probably going to continue for a while.
And hopefully that will be good for everybody's EDA.
Yep.
I wanted to segue back to what we were talking a little bit about at the beginning of the interview, the Afton showing a little bit of signs of cooperation between the town and county after about a year and a half of sort of non-communication. And you've got a new town manager on board now who's going to be running their EDA. But it was interesting to me that he's appeared at your last board meeting. First time I've seen a town manager there in about a year and a half.
Right.
And you were also at the town meeting giving a report. So really looks like there's a lot more communication going on, and you all are looking forward to working together towards the community's economic development in and out of town, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's taken a lot of effort. The Board of Supervisors, as soon as the new members came on board last year, immediately reached out to the town, their counterparts in the town, to start talking. We kept reaching out to the town to try to work on issues, and then when Mr. Hicks came on board, he's a very practical guy, an engineer by training, and he wants to solve problems and then get to the real issues that he had to be focusing on. And so the Afton was one issue that we took care of pretty quickly. We have property in McKay Springs that is moving. The town and the county are voting on a piece of property to sell it. And
I believe it's a parcel that's going to be used for commercial development.
correct.
out there.
And so I'm hopeful that we can begin to address some of the issues that have been long-standing and around way too long, and really start to look to what we ought to be doing on economic development, what the town ought to be doing for redevelopment and tourism, and we ought to be able to work together and really start making some differences. So I'm excited about the future.
And I guess part of the problem with the communication breakdown, Led Zeppelin song reference, was that there was litigation between the two entities, the town and the EDA,
Right.
and there's been a softening in that. The town dropped the challenge of ownership of the Afton so that it could be sold, and maybe there's hope on the horizon for the other litigation to be resolved out of court.
Yeah, I think that if you address a few problems at a time, I mean, there's a good number of them, and some of them have been around for decades. So it isn't something that we wave a magic wand and it's gone. It's gonna take some time. But if we start focusing on issues, keep working together on them, continuing to communicate, going to the meetings, keeping everyone informed, coordinating strategic plans, things like that, practical things. Then I think at some point you'll look and you say, well, there isn't much left in the lawsuit. Let's just dismiss it.
Let's as I think ex-mayor T. Walt had suggested, let's find out what we're owed, who owes what, who owns what, out of court.
Yep.
Save us all a little aggravation. Oh, one other thing I wanted to ask you about is you're dealing with a vacancy on your board since Mr. Daly went to become interim county administrator, and it seems that he may be there longer than he had initially anticipated and you initially anticipated, because I know his plan was to come back to the EDA board as soon as they hired a permanent county administrator, but now they may not do that for a year or more. Do you have any plans to fill that seat, or are you going to leave it vacant for Mr. Daly?
Yeah, well, of course, it's the county board that decides who goes on
Right.
the EDA board.
Right.
But it's been signaled to us that they'd like to fill it, and then Mr. Daly, when he finishes as county administrator, can come back at a future time when there's an opening. So yeah, we will be filling that as soon as we. I know they've had interviews and they're getting ready to interview some people. So I'd like to get up to full strength as quickly as we
Not
can.
likely they would suggest he'd take on a dual role like Mr. Hicks is doing for the town, be county administrator and an EDA board member.
Well, my hat's off to Mr. Hicks. I mean, I think I said it.
Has he really found the secret of the 48-hour day?
I'm not sure. I'll find out. I'll see how he's doing with it. But either being county administrator or town manager are full-time jobs, and then EDA, at least my experience is, it's very much a full-time job too. So
Well, from the discussion you all had at these meetings recently, it sounds like the EDA in town is going to be fairly focused on, I believe, tourism and downtown, filling empty storefronts.
right.
And maybe he won't have to devote as much time to the, say, industrial recruitment and stuff, which you
Right.
all are so versed in.
Right. I'd hope that we find specialty areas that we can focus on that don't conflict with one another. What I'd hate to see is a company coming in to the area and then pitting two EDAs against each other. I think that'd be bad for everyone except for the company coming in. And but if the town can focus on redevelopment, tourism, you know, helping people find better jobs. We do the more the industrial development kinds of things. Work with the properties we've got. I think that's a good mix. So I think it's good that we have a vehicle to do different things that are necessary.
And speaking of better jobs and new jobs, maybe just right before we close, just a little update on Silent Falcon. How are they doing? They're settling into the community, based out of the airport, I believe.
Right. Yeah. They are getting a floor put in the building that they have out at the airport. Silent Falcon is a drone manufacturer, and they make these incredibly sophisticated drones for use commercially. And so they're going to move their manufacturing and all of their sales and marketing here as well. So they'll have both a facility at the airport, and then in the county somewhere they'll also have an office building for sales, marketing, and support. And they're actually doing well. We talk to them on a regular basis, getting them up to speed. And they're getting ready to move out from New Mexico. I don't have a firm timetable yet for them doing that. A lot of it depends on the flooring and how that works out.
And they bring a lot to the community in their drones. I know the sheriff was excited. They can be involved in search and rescue, missing persons. I know they do surveys of like runways at airports. Things like that. But also, something that jumped out at me is the educational outreach. They already have a relationship, I believe, developing with RMA, and it's been some talk about developing the same type of thing in the public school system, I believe.
Well, and I would tell you one of the reasons that Silent Falcon ended up coming here was the RMA Drone Club, and the genesis of that was we needed somebody to fly a drone around some of our commercial properties. I had read a story about RMA having a drone club. I said, well, why don't we get them involved in it? They leapt at the opportunity, did a great job on a video, and now we've actually they're surveying all of our properties for us. But when Silent Falcon became a possibility, we put the teacher who's involved with the drone club in the same room with the president of Silent Falcon. They hit it off famously, and Silent Falcon actually said when they were talking at a planning board commission to get the zoning change that they needed, just said one of the reasons that that they came here was because of that. They had excited, interested people who were here. So I think they're going to be a real asset for the community. Plus, they bring 70 good-paying jobs with them that they've said that they are, want to give Warren County residents a priority at the opportunity to get them. And so it's a good win-win all the way around.
Well, on that good news, I think we'll close this up. Jeff Browne, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We'll have not to wait as long next time.
I look forward to it. We actually have a lot going on right now, so I'll have new good stories here in the near term.
We'll keep Royal Examiner in the loop.
We'll do so. Thank you.
Thank you. And like I said, I believe we'll post some graphics of the spotted lanternflies with this. Maybe we can even get some afternoon plan pictures in tied to the video.
Good. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.